It's time to feel the rage. Welcome to Film Rage, where we talk movies in cinema, streaming, and classic films as well. Directors and actors beware, as you cannot hide from the rage. My name is Bryce, and I'm part of the Film Rage crew, which also includes Jim. Hey there, Jim.
Hey, Bryce.
Also, we have Murray, who not only went to all the movies with us this week in cinema, but he actually sat with us. But what everybody really wants to know, Merman, is how was the Shania Twain concert?
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you. So with the introductions out of the way, let's rage on.
But did he have a Shania boner the whole time? That's really what we all want to know. Answers? He's going to leave that door closed.
No comment.
Well, thanks to all been supporting us. If you love our independent podcast, please like, subscribe, share, and give us a 5-star rating on your listening platform. Or support us and join the Film Rage community by joining our membership at buymeacoffee.com/FilmRageYYC. If you cannot commit to a membership, you can still buy us a movie rental and dare us to see a terrible, nasty, poopy film. As long as it played in cinemas anywhere in the world, and that includes even one cinema anywhere. So, let's get to raging. But first, here's a word from our sponsor.
Hey, Bryce, what are you doing tonight?
I'm going to my favorite cinema, Canyon Meadows Cinema, to see the best second-run movies at the best price.
What? How inexpensive are they?
Regular price is $5, $5.
Regular price is $5. Makes me hope they also serve pizza.
They do, plus a lot of other great food choices. Plus, I'm planning my office Christmas party there. They can host a plethora of options for any get-together. Gaming, movie, drag show.
Drag show? Now I know where I'm planning my next party.
Hey, maybe you think there's a Liam Neeson or a superhero movie planned?
I hope not. But maybe there'll be a great independent documentary.
Sure. Call CMC at 403-670-5444 to book a special event or go online at canyonmeadowscinema.ca.
Ta-da!
Oh, what the hell these two are doing?
We're having fun with pens.
Is that what you're doing?
We're playing with pens. You know, kind of like a Stilo, like they had with a Palm Pilot originally when a Palm Pilot came out. Does everybody remember a Palm Pilot that you kept in your palm?
What's a Palm Pilot?
Might as well keep the segue going.
Exactly.
Is that a
Segways?
Is that a walking around?
It's
phone?
a walking around device, but it was not a phone.
Well, then what's the point of that?
It was exactly. It wasn't as good as, say, the original Blackberry, perhaps.
Blackberry?
Yeah,
I've heard that.
I know it's
What is
fruit.
that?
It's a fruit that's
It is
also
a fruit.
delicious. And it's a movie that we went and saw in cinemas. Right?
That is correct, Jim.
It also played at the Calgary Underground Film Fest this year,
Yeah.
which we saved going to it there so we could see something else because we knew it was coming out.
All right, sir. So Blackberry is the story of the rise and fall of the walking around phone that was a dominant force before the mighty iPhone took over the world. There is an energy to it that does not let up through a majority of the film. This feeling of tension is helped along with a very good soundtrack and score. Jay Baruchel, as one of the founders, Mike Lazaridis, delivers the best performance of his career. This is the first time I have seen him play a character completely straight, and he shows that he can be counted on to anchor a film if need be. His portrayal is understated and brilliant. Just as brilliant is the over-the-top performance of Glenn Howerton as Jim Basile. He is a powder keg of a man that can be set off at any moment. There's enjoyment in watching this guy who in his own mind is always the smartest guy in the room. And more often than that, he also feels that he's surrounded by idiots. The seething rage that is just under the skin of Basile is one of the many joys that this film brings. The supporting cast is also stellar with the likes of Michael Ironside, Saul Rubinek, Martin Donovan, and Cary Elwes. The film keeps a good pace and covers a lot of ground in its 2-hour runtime. This film about children in adult bodies running one of the biggest triumphs and failures in the history of tech is a heck of an exhilarating ride. Blackberry was Mondo. I really liked it.
All right. I knew it was that good. Geek Super boned period piece crammed with a Canadian cast of actors at the absolute, as Bryce has already mentioned, top of their game. Oh, plus an American in that of Glenn Howerton, who plays Jim Basile. Jay Baruchel is brilliant as Mike Lazaridis. The music is infectious and period piece timely. It's like basically what you're saying.
Yeah.
The film style and pace of the film for the first half is manic and fevered and catches you in this fever of comedy, intrigue, and suspense as our greatest Canadian company of all time builds itself up and then tears itself down. The film has a maverick raw feel with the shaky handheld shots mixed with the stylist aged feel of the picture. This keeps you jacked along with the actors until shit starts to turn, and then the pacing and shooting style changes to a slower, controlled yet saddening demise of the once great company from Waterloo, Ontario. Like all bio period piece films, though, there is a lot in this that takes a lot of cinematic license to keep this story moving along. And if I wasn't laughing so much at the quick, smart humor, I may have been more annoyed. Don't get me wrong, I wanted to know a lot more about the inner workings of the demise of Rim, but I'll wait for the documentary that I'm hoping that will come out one day. I really enjoyed this film, but felt that the transition from Blackberry's brilliance to failure happened without enough linkage to some of the, pertinent facts. And when the pacing change happens, although it was kind of needed, some of the air came out of this film. I loved my Blackberry and missed some of the features that made it great. And this film was so close to being awesome, but it wasn't. It was a high man.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, that was awesome.
Plus, I looked at my watch twice, which is an indication of it not being Mondo.
I never looked at my watch.
You don't have a watch, but
even if I had one, I wouldn't have looked at it.
Yeah,
He doesn't have
You're
walking-
my watch. I would
He
have
doesn't
come
have
over
wa-
and said, Jim, what time is it?
and you didn't turn and ask me.
He
It's
doesn't have
true.
a walking around phone either, because they also have a watch on him.
That's right. I also have a watch phone. It's on my hand.
It's a watch and a phone.
And a phone, and it's a bunch of stuff. But here's my thought, and we can chat about this in a bit. Either make it longer and transition better, or give us more deets, or cut it back and keep the pacing roaring to get that Mondo.
And we will talk about this later, but I thought the transition was kind of spot on because it did turn that fast. And it goes from manic to just because it turned that fast.
Yeah, it doesn't.
This is not a long period of time that this took place.
Yeah, I know,
over.
but we'll talk about it in a bit. What do you think, Mur?
Yeah, as you said, this film actually played at Cuff last month to a sold-out audience, which is also one of the reasons why we weren't able to see it, and the fact that I was working. So it was fresh and minty, new to us.
Minty fresh.
Holy maple donuts! Was this ever a Canadian movie? Mm-hmm. All that was missing was Bob and Doug McKenzie and the characters drinking Molson's. I actually didn't know that Canadian nerds invented the world's first smartphone. I guess we have them to blame for today's society.
That's right, Bryce.
I personally miss having to use the phone attached to the wall to make phone calls.
I got one.
As somebody who knows nothing about Blackberry, I found this movie highly entertaining. But as with most biopics that I truly love, it's probably 90% false. Don't care. Jay Baruchel, as usual, was awesome. Probably the only things I don't like him in are Seth Rogen comedies, because I know he's capable of better. Like this film.
I like him in Seth Rogen comedies.
I don't. Fall in all those movies.
Another great Canadian actor.
But the only thing that really bothered me about the cast was Headband Guy.
I loved Headband Guy.
His partner, who seemed like a goofball and didn't know the first thing about software.
He knew
Yet he was the co-founder. If he was supposed to be smart, the filmmaker did a crappy job of showing that. If I was Jay's character, I would have fired all those nerdy kids as soon as the real computer guys showed up. No wonder they hired Michael Ironside to kick ass at that company. And of course, in the end, Apple ruins everything.
Yes.
Next to Disney, I find Apple to be the root of all evil.
It's the best.
I have never owned a Blackberry, will never own an Apple device, and happily live in the Stone Age or the 80s where stuff is cool. This movie was Mondo.
All
Nice.
right. You know, it was so close for me to getting Mondo. The problem I had, and I understand what you're saying about the pacing. I kind of did like the pacing fact that it did it, but it was actually Glenn Howerton's character that kind of, and not because he wasn't doing a great job. Every person acting in this film to me was absolutely at the top of the game. But I think the story of him and how he got to where he was in the story didn't sort of fit, because it was like we didn't get enough lead in to show him doing some of that.
It switched from being about the Blackberry guys to being about him and his quest for power.
Yeah, it did. I know, and I
that
know
was
that's
just-
part
that
of
was
the
just part
downfall.
of it.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
mean it's part of it, but to your point, actually, if this was like probably any other biopic, I'd be picking it apart so much because of just because of, like, to Murray's point, and they I've seen interviews
they
with
said,
actually
I think
Jim
that's where I got it
Basile
from.
about it. Yeah, he's
He
like
said 90% of it's
90% of it's fake. It can't be 90% fake because
I don't know.
certain facts are absolutely there.
I just
and
want to know
it's
if he
proven,
actually
right?
tried to buy the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there
he-
was. Yeah,
did.
there
No,
was.
was
a-
it him or was it somebody else?
No, it was,
No, it was
him.
him.
Yep. Yep. So
That
a
was
lot
the
of
thing.
a lot of those things were in there
Because that was never going to work.
I did have some. I just did have some gaps with some of that transition. I kind of wanted it to be longer, with more details or less details, and have it cleaner cut. Otherwise, I've truly enjoyed it. It was literally a hair thin away from being Mondo. If I hadn't looked at my watch twice, if I only looked once, I could look past it. But I went, oh my fuck, when is this going to end now? Because I already knew it was going to happen. I was just like, let it end already.
Yeah, I disagree.
I know. So does Murray. So that's okay. You're not always right
Yeah, I am.
in this case.
And I don't always agree with them.
I hope that we don't agree on everything this week. But I have a feeling there's going to be one film in particular that we are 100% all going to agree on.
Is that the next one?
And that's the next movie we're going to talk about, which is called Knights of the Zodiac.
Yeah.
The Force, as we all know it, which was also mentioned in the Blackberry film, is like the Cosmo.
The Cosmo!
The Cosmo.
What the bleep is the Cosmo?
The Cosmo. Just getting that right out of the way. Because when literally they say Cosmo, and I'm pretty sure they said it every fifth word in every sentence, they said the word Cosmo.
There's a lot of Cosmo.
Wasn't
Yeah.
that Kramer's first name?
Yeah, it was. It was Kramer's first. But then they never really explain what it is.
No.
I'm letting you know it's like the Force, because that is the only thing that I can think of to come even close to it. Because, we were never really told what it is. Athena has a strong Cosmo that apparently is going to go off and blow up the world, so her mom wants to kill her, and her dad didn't want her to. And this dude has strong Cosmo, and they think he may be able to be the Pegasus Knight to protect Athena with his Cosmo against, or maybe it's along with, her Cosmo. Her dad blows himself up for what seems like no apparent reason whatsoever. Caesar, the boy who is supposed to be the Pegasus Knight, kind of like Luke in Star Wars, decides to quit his training to find his sister. But her name isn't Leah, so that was kind of confusing. There's a ton of flashbacks, and nothing ties together in any sense whatsoever. And for the whole movie, I had no clue what or why this movie was made, or ultimately what it was even about, except the mom was trying to kill her daughter before she exploded by torturing her till she explodes, and then changes her mind for some reason. Then CGI stuff happens, and then it's the end, and then I raged.
Yeah.
That kind of sum it up?
Yeah, pretty much.
Pretty good.
Nice of the Zodiac.
That's
Or
what it's
as
called.
Bryce calls it, I don't understand what's happening. I must have heard him say that at least a dozen times.
He did, and we got to talk all the way through this
even
movie.
at the end.
We got
I
to
don't
talk all the
understand
way.
what's happening.
We had got to talk all the way through this because we were the only 3 people in the cinema.
And this is a guy who actually likes 3-hour-long movies with subtitles and lots of walking.
Yeah.
So
do.
what hope is there for the rest of us?
They got a good point there, Mer.
Okay, first the good, I guess.
What?
It was good.
There was literally wall-to-wall fight scenes. The movie was basically one long fight scene with an abundance of nauseating CGI. In between all the...
Wait, this was the good?
Yeah, well,
Good.
I like fight scenes. In between all the young ones and the CGI were the villains from my favorite Bond film, GoldenEye.
What?
Sean Bean and Famke Janssen, a.k.a. Trevelyan and Xenia Onatopp.
Okay, Xenia Onatopp.
Onatopp.
Right. I seem to remember Golden. What is this? Which Golden?
GoldenEye was the first Pierce Brosnan movie.
Yeah, that was terrible.
It was awesome. It was so fun. The rest of this movie basically felt like a bad Clash of the Titans remake for
kinda,
kids. It had the spirit of Pegasus, the flying horse, gods, and secret Cosmo powers.
Cosmo.
And a battle for Earth between gods and humans.
Cosmo.
Oh, wait. They did this already.
What?
It was called Percy Jackson.
What?
The plot was too confusing. The CGI was overused. And most of the acting by the kids was just plain bad. Yeah. This was a rage, and I wanted to leave 5 minutes into it. Like, I shouldn't have stayed to the second movie. It's always a mistake.
It's always a mistake. Sometimes we watch the better movie
No,
second. You never know.
Almost never. Yeah, it was terrible.
Knights of the Zodiac was just bad. Really bad. Full disclosure, I did sleep through about 20 minutes.
He did.
But
So did Mur, though, so it was kind of funny.
Yeah, but I usually do that. He never does.
But that did not seem to matter,
No,
as
it
before
didn't.
before I fell asleep, I had no idea what was going on, and when I woke up, I still had no idea what was going on. This literally had no redeeming qualities. The acting was terrible, and the dialogue they had to spew was worse. Direction and special effects also terrible. I would love to review this in more depth, but even after Jim explained the plot to me, I still have no idea what I watched. It is a mess of a movie, and it is a rage.
I don't understand what's happening.
You know, the thing that's so weird about this movie is that it's like a Netflix special, because this was influenced off of a Netflix series.
And from
it's
a
almost
manga comic.
yeah,
Whatever the hell manga is.
and it's almost like we started
It was
the
influenced
movie
by a Netflix that was based on...
on a comic. But you know what's funny about it is that it's like you came into the movie after have seen 6 or 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Because it's like they don't explain anything.
yeah.
And it's almost like, you know, if they made the movie for people that are fans of this franchise, I think.
And apparently they all hate it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Everybody
of course.
hates this movie. Like, it's like, I don't see how anybody could have liked anything about it. The fact that you found anything positive in it, Murray, kind of
like the two adults
surprised
that were
me.
in it.
Well, actually, you know, you're right. Sean Bean
Bean
was
is
not
awesome.
terrible in it.
And I thought it was hilarious that the bad guy, who actually wasn't her, it was somebody else, her henchman who became the bad guy.
Yep.
His spirit animal was the phoenix. Mm-hmm. She's Jean Grey. She's the Phoenix.
Yeah, it's not funny. A male Phoenix and a female Phoenix in the same
She was
movie.
a better Phoenix.
Yeah. Well, you know what that does, Mur.
Yeah, I know.
Rage! Rage! Rage!
Well, we lived up to our name today.
Yeah.
And
I literally felt
also we
crap
did
2
agree
days
on
after
we
this.
did agree on one movie.
But we're not done.
What? Oh, that's right. We saw another movie.
We did.
What's it called, Mur?
Still, Michael J. Fox movie,
Yes.
which apparently was in theaters, but we didn't see it in theaters.
Well, some people did.
Well, did you see it in theater?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you would have
course you
streamed. You
did.
stream everything. This documentary follows the life of beloved actor and Parkinson's advocate Michael J. Fox, exploring his personal and professional triumphs and travails, and what happens when an incurable optimist confronts an incurable disease. I'm going to keep this short because everyone knows how I feel about MJF. There are 3 celebrities on this planet who I genuinely love that inspire me and are real-life heroes, in my opinion. Christopher Reeve, Michael J. Fox, and Ryan Reynolds. If you don't know how awesome Reynolds is, look up the more than 24 charities he devotes his time and money to every year. Anyway, this documentary was awesome. As somebody who's read all of his books, I pretty much knew all the details already because I read it in his own words. I love seeing all the behind-the-scenes footage, like when he was shooting Family Ties. I didn't know they actually recorded that. They did a great job in using clips from his movies out of context, just one-liners from other movies they just throw in there. I'm like, oh, yeah, that was cool. And it was really hard to watch Michael J. Fox trying to learn to walk again, fall repeatedly, and seeing him shake all over. That is not how I like to remember him. But this film was, of course, a Mondo.
Nice. Nicey nice.
All right. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie was terrible. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, where's my gun?
Still, a Michael J. Fox movie is not your typical talking heads doc, although it is a talking head doc.
Yes.
That head being the subject himself. By not including interviews from everyone around him, director Davis Guggenheim creates a more intimate look into the life of Michael J. Fox. While letting Fox tell his own story, we get clips from his movies and a few dramatic reproductions that tie this tale together quite effectively. The footage of his everyday struggles with Parkinson's disease are heartbreaking and inspiring at the same time. We see his interactions with the public and witness that he is still able to hit you with a one-liner, although in his current state that humorous quip may come out a little delayed. Guggenheim's use of close-ups when interviewing Fox was also very effective, as we got to look right into the eyes of the man and were able to understand, even as he occasionally struggled for the right words. This also created a necessary contrast between interviews and the look at his everyday life. When following Fox around in his everyday life, Guggenheim would pull the camera way back and let us objectively observe. The daily grind of coping with his disease is clearly representative. The way he continued to keep his career going while dealing with his diagnosis is absolutely fascinating. By the end of this film, I felt I knew Fox. He shared all the highs and lows. Still is a must-see for any Michael J. Fox fan, but it is also a very well-made doc that invites the viewer into the life of an interesting subject. Everyone else should see this as well. Still, a Michael J. Fox movie was Mondo.
All right. Well, that's 2 for 2.
It's kind of scary
What?
that we agreed on 2 movies in the same week.
What? Yeah, you two.
That's what I mean.
What the fart? What the fart nugget? A doc of Michael J. Fox, the Canadian acting icon, with dramatization, live footage, and historic editing done perfectly well to tell the story the doc wants us to know. One of the things that makes These kind of docs, either good or bad, is editing. In this, it's neither. It's neither bad or good. It's fucking fantastic. The way they tell this story through magnificent editing in scenes from Michael's previous work was done brilliantly. I mean, what else would you expect from the boy prince of Hollywood? And on top of that, what this film doesn't do, that most biodocs do, is not to get every single movie he did or project he did and remind us he was in them in chronological order. Thank God they didn't, because that is what we have IMDb for. We can go there and we can look at what Michael J. Fox is in. This movie was not about the movies he was in. It is about Michael J. Fox. This film, you get to see the inside of MJF. You get to see the good, you get to see the bad, you get to see the ugly. He is not afraid to share and be intimate with his audience. One of the great lines that sums this movie up, it's okay not to be Michael J. Fox sometimes. To be honest, I was never a huge fan of Michael J. Fox, even though I have seen every single one of his films. I always respected him, and after seeing this film, I have an even greater respect for him. This film, as far as biodocs go, is one of the best I have ever seen. And everyone who thinks MJF can't act and only does comedy needs to see Casualties of War. That movie and this movie, with Michael J. Fox being still never, is a mondo. This film was so fucking good.
It was.
Hit it.
Yeah, I'm not done.
Oh.
I can unpack stuff too.
Okay, let's pack. But don't you want to give us the juice?
I will.
All right, we're waiting for the juice.
Yeah, like I said, I am one of the world's biggest Michael J. Fox fans, although, yes, I've never seen Casualties of War, which is on my to-do list.
Which you have to see.
But even I was surprised by some of the clips they used that I didn't know where they were from. Like, there are some, like, especially the stuff in those earlier days that wasn't very well received. I had no idea what it was from, but most of it I did know, because of course I know almost everything about the man.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was cut together very well, and yeah, it made me love him even more than I already did.
Yeah, I mean, the editing in this is the star. Like, I mean, although the director did a fantastic job. Like, and you know, in contrast to that, right? Like, we saw Val, the movie Val, right? What was it, last year or a couple of years ago, and we talked about it. Like, this is a Michael J. Fox movie. It's even in the title, right? And in contrast, like, you've got somebody whose story is worth telling, and they're doing it through the body of work that he has, as well as just allowing him to be so vulnerable, like so vulnerable.
And him absolutely willing to put himself out
yes.
In reality, it may be one of the last things he ever does, because he's gotten to the point where, he honestly cannot be still. Like, even the drugs aren't really helping anymore.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's almost impossible for him to do acting anymore. So this is the last thing I ever see him in. Then he's had a hell of a career.
Yeah. Well, question for you then, Mur. Has he ever got a Lifetime Achievement Award?
He last year got a Lifetime Achievement Oscar. Okay. So he will never win an Oscar for a performance, although, like you said, Casualties of War, he was obviously probably very good in. But just his body of work, like, and his entertaining audiences for 30 some years. Yeah. And his good friend Woody Harrelson gave it to him, and they were like crying on stage. It was awesome to see.
I might go watch that. I like.
It wasn't at the actual Oscars. It was like the technical awards, like 3 months earlier or whatever it was. But it was still nice to hear that he got one. So. So and he's got like at least three Emmys. One he got after he actually.
He's not an EGOT.
No, he's not an EGOT. He'll never be an EGOT.
What's a Bemmy?
An Emmy.
It's an Emmy.
What's an Emmy? It's an Emmy?
Emmy.
Emmy? Like Emmy Rossum?
Sure. That's for television. In case you forgot, he used to do television.
Emmy Rossum has an award that they give out for television?
They didn't name it after her, although she may have won one or two.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
I'm confused.
I don't even know. Yeah.
All
who
right,
knows?
here's the moment you're waiting for.
Mondo! Mondo! Mondo!
All right. Well, I actually do have something this week.
What?
There was a fourth movie that we saw in our marathon Monday.
Oh, we did see me and Murman.
After we watched Michael J. Fox, we had some time to kill
Oh, God.
at Jim's swinging pad, waiting for his car to be fixed. So I was in the mood for something light, and we definitely got that.
Oh, it was light, all right.
Chris Evans, a.k.a. Captain America, plays a farmer yokel who falls in love with a girl after the first date. And of course, getting some boom boom will do that.
Yep.
Unfortunately, she disappears and ghosts him. Hence the title, Ghosted.
What's ghosting?
It's it's where you don't answer.
It's a walking around phone thing.
Yep. It's like you send me a message and say, "Hey Jim," and then you send me another one, "Hey Jim," and then I just never respond. I'm ghosting.
It's like if we left a message on your
Well,
answering
that's not
machine
very
and you
nice.
never answered.
I know it's not.
No, it wasn't.
Oh.
Anyway, so he tracks her down in London using the GPS on his inhaler.
Yeah.
WTF?
Yeah. What's
He gets captured by bad guys.
Wait, just so everybody realizes, an inhaler in Canada for Ventolin, I think, is like $10 even if you don't have coverage.
and it's people who have asthma or who
yeah,
have breathing
exactly. You're gonna
problems,
put it. You're gonna put a tracker on your
your
inhaler.
pharmacist gives it to you for like $10, or usually it's free with your medical coverage. But yeah, so yeah, he put a GPS on his inhaler because he left it in her purse. So he tracks her down in London. He gets captured by bad guys who think he's somebody else. He gets saved by this girl who turns out to be a CIA spy,
An operative.
operating in Europe. I thought they just operated in the
You know
US,
what?
but-
I wasn't looking for any actual.
and is chased by a variety of bad guys, all led by Adrian Brody in a really bad
Yes!
French accent.
Adrian Brody was awesome.
The highlight of this film,
Was Adrian? Brody.
besides the over-the-top action, was the cameos by nearly the whole cast of Winter Soldier. Anthony Mackie, a.k.a. Sam the Falcon Wilson, plays the grandson of Sam. Get it? Son of Sam?
Yes.
And he was a hitman. Then we have Sebastian Stan, a.k.a. Bucky, the Winter Soldier Barnes, plays God, a hitman. Predictably, they don't last long. Still, it was a nice reunion. In fact, Scarlett Johansson was originally supposed to star in this movie until her schedule got busy. Anna de Armas did a decent job, but doesn't kick ass as well as Black Widow. And of course, the ending was completely ridiculous.
It was redonkulous.
A showdown at a revolving restaurant that goes spinning out of control. Some kind of nuclear device the terrorists want to buy. And Ryan Reynolds? Say
Ryan
what?
Reynolds shows up.
Not Rai. For the 2 minutes he was in it, awesome. His character actually had lost an eye and his genitals, thanks to our heroine, who apparently left a trail of like broken bodies in her wake. But you know, he wasn't bitter or anything.
No, he wasn't.
This movie was too cheesy and absolutely unbelievable to be a Mondo. But it was a hell of a ride and an enjoyable mat, and not a bad way to kill 90 minutes.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just so I can absolutely avoid this movie
Yes.
and never see it ever.
Absolutely.
What was it called?
Ghosted.
Ghosted. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta
Chris
commit that
Evans.
to memory because I do not want to
Oh,
By
accidentally
you
start
see this
watching
movie?
this.
it may
Yeah.
show up on in a dare bag at some
Oh yeah, it's definitely going to show up in a dare bag. But you know the funniest thing about this whole story was because when it came out on Apple TV back, I don't know, a couple weeks
you
ago.
sent me a link saying we should see this.
Yeah, so my wife started watching this. I don't know when it first came out because I was out probably gallivanting with you two. And when I get back, I'm like, "Hey, how did that Ghosted go?" She goes, I lasted 25 minutes and then I had to turn it off. It was so terrible.
But it gets better.
Does it?
It does.
I have to admit, I did laugh at a couple of things.
It was better than Knights of the Zodiac.
Yeah,
at least you knew what was happening.
It was true. It was yeah, it was definitely better than Knights of the Zodiac.
So so it wasn't the worst movie we saw this week.
Yeah, that's true.
So there.
Absolutely.
Temperature rising. Vision blurring. Rage taking over.
My sweet, sweet rage. How I love you so. To the depths of my soul.
There is no Jim, only Zool.
Only Zool and rage. So my rage this week, I could go on about a few things, but my biggest rage this week is Netflix. I canceled it about a year and a half ago because everything they put out was terrible, and if Knights of the Zodiac was influenced by something Netflix did, then obviously the rage belongs to Netflix. So that's my rage this week. Netflix, stop ruining the world with your crap. That's my rage.
So my rage this week is that I am part of the Movie Lovers Club.
What?
Yeah. And with that, I give the person at the
Machine place takes your money for the tickets?
yeah, that's the place.
Yeah, that thing.
And
Person behind the counter. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I say I want to go to a movie, and they say, okay, well, what movie do you want to go to?
Yep,
And I say Knights of the Zodiac,
that's right.
and they say
Why?
that'll be like $14.99, and I go what? and they go,
And they go, yeah.
They go, yeah, that's how much it
$14.99.
costs. And I go, but I gave you my card,
I'm
and
a
you
clubber.
scanned it.
I'm a
I'm
clubber.
part of the movie club, but Lovers Club.
I pay for the privilege.
I pay
the money
so that I get the good deal on the movies.
all the time.
And he says, oh.
I'm dumb.
And he goes,
Okay.
okay. And then he like goes in and he stumbles around and fumbles and then finally finds the
Finger bangs the keyboard.
Yeah, and then finally finds the $9.99. So, every time I got to get them to void the transaction, start the process over so they can charge me the correct price. This is literally a dance that we do
Every single time.
Every time we
Yeah.
do this dance. Why are you not just giving me my discount instead of me having to ask for it every single time? That's my rage.
Yeah, Murray has that
You
same
know what,
rage.
Bryce? The exact same
has
thing
the
happened
exact
to me. I think probably the exact same
It
time.
was because you're both getting your tickets.
The only
at the
difference
same
was
time.
I purchased my Knights of the Zodiac ticket for free on their website
Nice.
because I'm not going to use my credit card, but I had a freebie, so I used it for that, which I'm glad I did
Nice.
because I didn't want to spend money on that.
Imagine you admitted
But no,
that you
like
paid
every
money
time I
for
go,
it.
and this is the one I actually do belong to. I don't belong to the other one because there's one in my neighborhood. I just go on Tuesdays when it's $8. That's cheaper than 10.
You know what? 8 is cheaper than
So
10.
what's the point of buying it if I just go on a Tuesday? Because I can do that.
Yeah, you
So
can.
anyway, but
There you
yeah,
go.
no, same thing happened to me. And the other part, maybe to your rage, you didn't add, is their freaking machines don't work.
Yeah, that's a thing.
That's a-
Because
Dumb thing.
they actually have kiosks where you can buy your tickets without having to talk to anybody. I've now tried 2 different locations. Both of them, you get to the part where you put in your club number, you swipe your club number,
Yep.
and it just does a buffering.
You know what it is too? It's funny because we've seen other people use the machines and
Yes,
they can
I
buy it,
have.
but
Without
none of
the
them
club
are
card.
club members.
No.
That's why. Because
Yeah.
if you're a club member, it's kind of like, you know what, we're just going to make this
not
uncomfortable for you
compute.
every single time
Then you
so
have to
that
go
maybe you won't be a club member anymore.
Then you gotta go
Well,
talk to
then
the
you're
guy
like,
behind the
screw it,
counter.
I'll just pay regular price.
Yeah, I'll just
Exactly. To not deal with the guy behind the counter, I'll pay regular price.
Yeah. Okay, so, but, you know, ultimately, they probably can't afford to get technological upgrades because in Knights of the Zodiac, there was 3 of us in that movie.
Yeah.
And then when we saw, what was the other movie we saw again? Oh, yeah, Blackberry.
Blackberry.
How many people were in the Blackberry with us?
I don't know,
Quite
10?
a few. No, there was more than 10. There must have been 30, 40 at least.
Okay, so it was busy.
It was busy.
It was busy, but it wasn't Knights of the Zodiac non-busy. So I mean, they lost money on. They're losing money every week because people aren't
but
going to see.
We go on Mondays. We don't know what they do on the weekends.
Yeah, I guess we've been
Because
once or
Fridays
twice.
and Saturdays, that's the busy time. Maybe they get packed houses for all we know.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Just keep giving them your money.
Anyway.
Just quit your whining.
Yeah.
Put your sorties in a sack.
Stories in a sack.
Rage subsiding. Pulse slowing. Anger fading.
Oh, it's the lists. All right, people.
That's what it says here.
If you've never listened to us before, please go to our website, filmrageyyc.com, and take a look at the tab called The Lists. There are 4 of them. There is the Doubted, the Undoubted, the Repulsive, and the Mesmerizing. And we've been spending a significant amount of time trying to cut down our mesmerizing list, so this week we watched a movie called Jumanji. Welcome to the jungle. We got fun and games.
Forgot we were doing this.
Shoopy dooby dooby. Doopy dooby doo. From 2017. Did you get to see it, Mur?
But the first one or the second one?
The first one.
No.
All right. I'm assuming Bryce did get to see it.
Yeah, I don't know that this is a thing though. I don't know.
Speak your mind.
It's weird. I understand that we've got this rule where if they're in it for 5 minutes.
But so he was 4 minutes and 50 seconds. But
Was he?
yes,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
here's my argument.
Okay.
He was terrible. He wasn't funny. Like if it was another 10 seconds into it,
Yeah.
it wouldn't have increased any quality that
But it was
Darby
like-
was offering us.
But it was like a throwaway role, and you had nothing to work
But he's
with.
been in throwaway roles many times and been mesmerizing. In this, it's like I was just like, dude, you're not even funny. Like he was supposed to be the comic relief at that part, and he wasn't. Like we've seen him before. He dropped the ball. He was not Rhys Darby that we know and love. He's been in scenes where he's been in it 5 seconds and been more mesmerizing than the entire cast. He was a flat dud in this. If you didn't, you must have seen that. He was not funny.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
But he also was barely in it.
I know, but he was. I'm making the argument, this movie alone, because there's nothing that would have changed in his persona.
He was in it
If
for
he would have been
20
another 10 seconds,
or
he
20
still would have been
minutes.
terrible,
Or 20
and he
minutes.
wasn't mesmerizing. So for that 4 minutes and 50 seconds, he was up against, what do you call Dwayne The Rock again?
Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah, but you call him something else, too. It's like the only
No,
real...
he's the only. There is one movie star in the world right now.
That's it.
And it's Rock
Exactly.
the Dwayne Johnson.
So, I mean, he had
is
to be
the
at the-
only movie star that exists.
If Rhys was at his top of his game, like he is most times, it would have been a competition, and we could have used the 4 minutes and 50 seconds as an excuse for him. My vote, he's gone.
I got no problem with that because I'm obviously going to go with Rock the Dwayne Johnson.
And as I've said, I saw the second one,
Yep.
and he was in the second one too. You could have picked the second one, and it probably was in it for about the same amount of
Well,
time.
we were going to have to watch the second one if we didn't agree to this.
But yeah, and again, you guys like him a whole lot more than I do. But as I pointed out numerous times, because I wasn't here last week and I had to phone it in, so to speak.
Yes, you did.
I mentioned it's like there is literally no other movie he has ever been in with anybody on this list.
Yeah, so
if it
you would have been
wasn't- if it wasn't
mesmerized
this
for life.
movie, he would have never been taken on
Well, but
because he's
he's
never
still-
had a movie
he's
with
He
still
still has
acting,
100.
though.
He still has 100 years to.
Yeah.
Anyway, he's not making it past this week.
He's not making a movie with Viola Davis.
You know, you don't
Why
know
not?
Or
that.
Vigo.
Why not?
He
He
is
might.
He's a
Why
comedy
not?
guy. But just saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, you want to take him off? I got no problem with
He's
that.
not just in comedy.
He's only got
He's-
one movie anyway.
he's been in
so
other
that doesn't-
stuff.
That doesn't bother me.
Pirate Radio, he wasn't this fun. He was still funny.
He was still
Was he in
funny
that
in
one?
Pirate Radio.
Yeah, he was-
Yeah, he
yeah.
was really
Yeah,
good.
you
in
guys
it.
took that one off already.
Yeah, but nobody left because we couldn't agree on
Yeah.
who was more
So you
mesmerizing.
think adding him would have helped? Probably not.
No, he was in it.
He was
We-
in it,
and we
What are you
voted
talking-
on
and
him.
We voted on.
There you go.
Yeah. So anyway, he's normally
I make my point.
mesmerizing,
Yeah.
but in this movie, he was not. And Dwayne the Rock, the only superstar.
No, the only movie star.
The only
in
movie
world,
star in the world.
There's only one person in the entire world right now where you can just put his name on top of the marquee and people are going to go just because it's him.
Yes,
And
that
it.
is
he
him.
is the only one.
That's
i.e. Black Adam.
Yeah, because even people did go see that, and that
Even
movie
though it
was
was
so,
terrible.
that was
Yeah.
so terrible.
He is the lone movie star in the world right now, and
The
deservingly
only-
so.
The only one,
And deservingly
and
so.
he's goddamn gorgeous.
He is a beautiful man.
His pecs are just
And he now owns
succulent.
He's part owner
US,
of the
pardon?
XFL.
XFL? I thought it was
Yeah.
USFL.
No. He's part owner of
There
the
you go.
XFL.
Nice.
Which just had their
He
champion.
presented the trophy to
He
the
did.
to the DC the Arlington.
Yes, the underdog.
Yeah, they
They were like 5-7, and they beat the best team in the league.
They
So
were actually
there you go.
they were 5-6. They
There you
actually
go.
got to 500
Losing
by beating,
record.
by beating
And they beat the best
By-
team in the league.
well, there you
so
go.
There you
Yeah.
go.
That's apparently
Arlington Renegades.
There
That's
you
what
go.
they're called.
This is all interesting. I don't know what that has to do with the price of tea in China, but
We were talking about The Rock.
oh, okay, well.
And he owns
It's
the
okay for
XFL.
you to
Part
talk
owner
about
of
stuff
the
that
XFL.
means nothing, but when Murray talks about TV, it's like a swear word.
Swear word.
What's because
yeah.
TV?
He
What's
was on TV too, by the way.
I
What
don't
is
even know
NFL,
what's-
XFL,
Oh, and-
CFL, whatever
and-
the
and apparently-
FL,
apparently-
the effing L thing?
Apparently, NBC doesn't like Dwayne the Rock as much as you guys did because I think his show just got canceled.
Who? Oh well, whatever.
The one
He's-
about his life, the one about him, got canceled.
whatever. We don't care. We still love him.
Just saying.
All right. Well, the other thing. So,
But he's not in
We
it.
have
He
a
just
very
narrates.
important. Another thing that we need to know from Bryce this week.
What?
Did you get to see Meek's Crossing this week for Kelly Reichardt?
Well, Jim, I did.
I knew you would. You couldn't pass it up.
And the beat goes on for Kelly Reichardt.
You gotta watch
because,
another one.
Yeah, Meek's Crossing
was
was
so
frickin'
good.
Mondo.
It was
Oh my God, this is a good movie.
I
I was just blown out of my boots.
know you
I was like,
were.
this movie was made for me.
that's exactly what I said when I saw it. I said to you, I said, this movie, if any movie
Oh.
on the planet was made for Bryce, it's Meek's Crossing.
The cinematography, the pacing, the dialogue, just
Everything.
every performance,
The walking, Murray, the
walking.
entire movie is
So
them
much
walking. The entire movie.
They don't even say anything for like the first 20 minutes.
They just walk.
It's so good.
I don't know what she has. Okay, so did you look how many still do you have to watch? Because I'm completely up to date.
I'm not up to date. I'm not sure.
Okay.
I think I still have like 2 or 3 I have to
All right,
watch.
well, hurry up.
I'm getting it.
Because, I mean, as far as...
But yeah,
I'm-
it's looking real good for Kelly Reichardt.
yeah,
to be on
because
the Undoubted
I
list.
think based on the films, I can't ever see her making a
Yeah.
Rage. That's not possible. So unless she's made 2 Mez,
back to
which-
back Mez, which I can't see as it's possible. I mean, I'm gonna watch them, but I can already tell you that she's gonna be Undoubted. There's no way.
Just so people know who we have in our Undoubted, we don't have very many actors left. We have P.T. Anderson. We have Wes Anderson. Anyone with the last name Anderson is apparently Undoubted. We have Emma Stone. We have Noah Baumbach. We have Tom Hardy, which I guess we have to kind of look at, because why would Tom still be on there? Didn't we double mat him on his last 2 movies? I guess maybe we have to update that.
What, the 2 Venoms?
Yeah. Michael
well,
Cera.
no, those weren't back to back.
Chan-wook Park, David Cronenberg, John Hawkes, Hirokazu Kurita, Chris Nolan, Guillermo del Toro, Alfred Hitchcock, Denis Villeneuve, George Miller, Jim Jarmusch, Akira Kurosawa, and Naomi Rapace. So we don't have a female director on it. So Kelly Reichardt, you could be our first female director on The Undoubted.
Cool.
Right? Get off the pot and start watching, buddy.
Yeah, I'm doing my best.
You're not
Guessing
doing.
you got time this week.
You're not doing.
I only got so many hours in
You're
the
not
week,
doing
man.
nearly enough. That's all I'm saying.
Doing my best.
All right, Mur. What are we seeing this week?
What you in the mood for?
I'm in the mood for love, simply because you're near me.
How about Richard Jenkins
Oh, already I'm excited.
and John Goodman
Nice.
in a movie that doesn't even star them?
Uh-oh. Do we know if they're in it long enough?
I know at least one of them is.
Okay, well that.
That's
You know what?
'Cause I've
It's going to
seen
be
it.
worth seeing anyway,
'Cause
so
I've
I
seen
don't
it.
care.
I don't know about that.
All right.
Because it stars somebody you guys probably don't like.
okay.
Well, let's have it.
What is it?
Sea of Love.
Sea of Love.
Al
Pacino?
Oh yeah, this movie's
Ellen Barkin.
terrible. This is probably one of the worst movies
I
that's
know
ever
John
been
Goodman's in it,
made.
and I'm pretty sure Jenkins is in it. I think he plays one of his cop buddies. But
All right, well, I'll have my stopwatch handy to see. This is going to be a good battle.
if not, they are also in another movie together,
Huh.
which I'll bring up next week.
Do you want to give them both, or what do you think, Bryce? Are you banking that we're going to get 5 minutes of both of them?
I say let's just
See where it goes.
Oh,
Roll the dice and
I almost think we should just watch both and make our judgment
Okay.
based on both movies.
The other one I have is One Night at McCool's.
Yeah, I'll watch that one.
Which I think was the sequel to Get Shorty.
yeah, I think you're right.
Is it?
I don't know. I think it is.
Maybe.
Well, how about this? We'll watch Sea of Love first, and then we'll chat. Because if one of them isn't it long enough, then we'll decide.
Whatevs.
Whatevs. And then Bryce is going to hopefully see all the rest of the Kelly Reichardt films.
Probably not by next week.
All right. Whatever. He's got a life or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
What a bastard. What a bastard. Well, I think that's it for the list this week.
I think so.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Last week, Jim, the ballless wonder, decided to pull from... What's this? He chose the God of Rage without having to? What? Well, I guess he grew a pair. Didn't see that one coming. Anywhoozleby, he chose the movie Chips. Yes, that's right. I put the reimagining of the television show Chips. Did anyone ever see this movie? Well, we know Jim did. This week, the two, Ballless B baby boy Bryce and Jim, the regular film rage dude, have another rage off in cinemas. The trailer of Book Club 2, The Next Chapter, very much screamed no one will ever want to see this. So, in true sadistic nature of film rage, the boys will do a draw from Merman's ice creamy bucket of rage to see which one will have to go to cinemas and pay money to see Book Club 2, knowing full well the fates will probably choose Bryce because he deserves it. But first, let's see if Chips the Reimagining is as bad as no one remembers. Or maybe I'm losing my touch. No, that can't be it. I'm sure these chips are tasteless, but I'm sure there's also a few dips in there.
What are you doing?
Apparently, Bryce just stayed
I
the
think
mutiny.
that the thing is rigged. So
How is it possibly rigged?
I am putting the names in.
They're just names. What the hell? You can't
Just-
take out. Those
Hey,
are Murray's
hey.
movies.
You just
You just took out. Yes, they are. Dum dum.
They came out of my ice bucket of rage. that you
Ice
just
creamy bucket
destroyed.
of rage. Yes, those are
Yes,
all.
they are
We
all
emptied the
mine.
ice bucket of rage to put the
Get
names
your
in
own
it. Dum
paper,
dum.
jackass.
Yeah, you dummy.
Here, you want some paper? I got some paper for you.
No, I want this paper.
The paper.
I don't want all you guys' doctored paper.
It was literally you that wrote them
I
last
am
time.
not losing this week.
You are. The fates will tell
might.
you if you are. The fates will tell you. But while Bryce is playing
Rigging
with
the
his
election.
trying to rig the election, I will tell you about Chips, not the potato version. So Michael Pena is funny and awesome, but not in Chips. And Dax Shepard is not funny ever.
I like Dax Shepard.
Well, that's good for you, I guess. And the believability...
You mean Mr. Kristen Bell?
Yeah.
Yes.
And the believability of everything in this is, as you guess, is unbelievable from start, where Dax's character is a complete fuck-up trying to get into the police chips program, but yet still gets approved into the program when he's completely incompetent at everything. Imagine how Paul Blart must have felt knowing that Dax/John only made it into the cop program because he has nice eyes. This does really set the stage for how and what is clearly the worst version of 70s TV show reimagining as a movie could be. It's worse than 21 Jump Street or even 22 Jump Street. It's worse than the Brady Bunch, worse than Care Bears, and surprisingly, worse than Dukes of Hazzard. What makes the original TV show good is that the characters are sweet and endearing, and the people looked forward to seeing them every week.
And Eric Estrada.
Yeah, exactly, of course, and Eric Estrada, who also appears as a bit part in this. What this film does, though, is it makes you wish that you never see these two people again. I've always wondered why the Merman has never been fond of Michael Pena, and if this is the only thing that he would have seen him in, I would not be a fan of him either. There was no chemistry between John and Paunch through the entire movie. No one is likable and nothing was funny, so I kept asking myself, why the actual fuck would anyone want to make this movie? And even more importantly, why did they have to make me hate Michael Pena in this film? And every single motherfucking thing that Dax/John does makes no sense. Especially, he's a rookie. And especially if he has half a brain in his head. Plus, the whole Three's Company subplot and the dialogue made no sense. The story or lack thereof, which centers around Paunch being undercover to find bad cops, and I don't even know why the non-Paunch dude is even in this film. All I know is I wanted to get on a motorcycle naked, drive through an acreage of thorn bushes, followed by a salt and vinegar potato chip factory, followed by a killer bee farm, and then an acid bath in hopes that my naked, scarred, and tortured body would never survive long enough to remember how awful this film was. Unfortunately, that did not happen, as I was asked by my neighbors to put my clothes back on and get the fuck off their moped and stop screaming, and please just make it stop. I tried to pretend I was on a Harley as I pedaled away. To summarize, police work is non-existent. Again, nothing was funny, the story was stupid, the interplay between John and Paunch was disconnected, disjointed, and disastrously awful. I mean awful. And when I say awful, I mean ragefully awful. On top of that, the movie was an hour and 40 minutes, but felt like it was a day and 40 hours long, plus so much motorcycle chases and cops running over people all the time. Huh? What? Did the producers of this watch Bad Boys and think, this is a really good idea for cops to run over people? It's funny. No, it's not. And this movie was so awful. Casey is back at the top of his game. This movie was so completely awful. I was sick the entire time.
I don't even remember it. I know I saw it in theaters.
It is horrifying. Horrifying.
It's really that bad?
It is so horrifying. Yeah, I don't know.
I believe you.
I
just wondering why I just can't remember.
It was so bad. I remember when I pulled this, I was like, I think I've seen this. And then when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, I remember this. Yeah, this was not good. All right, so did you double check? Like, Murray's our auditor.
I wrote and put both our names. You can look afterwards.
Murray, do you want to double check just to make sure?
He's not touching it. It's done.
He did that whole magician sleight of hand thing.
Yeah, I think Murray's going to audit this situation.
No, he's not auditing anything. Just pick one.
It's true. We can audit it after the fact.
I'm making sure there's two different names in here.
Yeah.
No! You've already soiled it!
Soiled it with what?
I don't trust you.
I can't believe he knows that fate usually picks him. I don't know why he's even...
Now he knows what they both feel like.
Feels like... So I'm sorry, is Murray blind now and he reads with Braille? Is that what you're trying to anticipate here?
I will be checking this after I pull to make sure there were two different names.
Yes, of course you will.
Just because you know.
I don't
All right,
want you
shake it
looking
up.
In there, you're putting your hand in there. You're not looking.
Shake it around. All right, here he goes. He's not looking. He's looking in your cold, dead
I'll make
eyes.
you both watch it, whatever the hell it is.
He pulled both.
There.
Fates have spoken!
And look, the other one says Jim.
Yes, this is
There.
This is ridiculous.
What?
It's always your idea to do it, too. It's always.
What's that phrase you always
It's
use?
always Bryce.
Put it in your pipe and smoke it or something.
Put your stories in a sack.
Put your stories in a stack. So even when Bryce rigs the election, it still goes
I
against
didn't rig anything. I
Yeah,
just
you
wanted it to
did.
be fair.
It was fair.
This is the
So apparently I'm going to the book club, the next chapter.
Is that what the choice was?
And I'm not happy about it. That's 3 in a row, by the way. First it was High School Musical 3. Then it was Love Again.
Love again.
And now it's the book club, the next chapter.
That's right.
Whatever.
I think Jim is dying.
Oh, this is so good. I can't believe it. Oh, that's a good week.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Rangers, for listening. Thanks to the Extended Film Rage family, who you can find them in our show notes. Thanks to Casey, the nerdy photographer, for the voice of Rager Dare, who is also the god of rage. Find us on social media everywhere at Film Rage YYC. And check out everything Film Rage at filmrageyyc.com, including our merch site for Redbubble and TeePublic. We always want to make this a raging blast for all listeners, so please comment, like, and subscribe, and send us emails to filmragecalgary@gmail.com. Dare us to see terrible movies to fuel our rage, but no matter what you do, please, 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 pretty please, 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 keep making Bryce rage. That's it for this week. A rage on.
Rage on.